Good morning, y'all.
Still not morning.
It's still morning somewhere. So, of course, we have our special guest reviewer, Pickles, who's not feeling well today. That's why normally I would make her get her ass off the couch and we could actually not have all this gap in the video. I'm Brian. Welcome to the Republic. Of course, we've got Dalton back again. Always good to have him on here.
Always good to be back.
So what we're going to do is we're going to be running down some of the triggers to some of the pistols that we've got. Triggers being, of course, a very important part, not just because it's the thing that you pull and makes it go bang, but they're good triggers, they're bad triggers, they're okay triggers, they're complete shit triggers, and there's some pretty fucking awesome triggers out there. Of course, the better the trigger, naturally, you would hope the better the gun. Not always the case. But what it does is a better, smoother, better reset. Things like that contribute to your ability to make the shot when you need to make the shot. So with that borne in mind, we're actually going to start, well, we're going to run it chronologically. So we're going to start with the very first pistol that we picked up, and we're going to run down to the very last, which is actually on loan from the relative who shall remain nameless and positionless, because they probably don't want me mentioning them on air, unless they decide later that they do want to be on the channel, in which case, yay!
Cool.
All right, so we're going to start with
Shield.
demonstrating all clear. We're going to start with, this is the Shield 2.0. Now this, when I picked it up, was actually my EDC. Carried it every day, absolutely love this gun. Very, very heavy, very snappy recoil, not heavy gun. The slides, pretty heavy for inexperienced shooters or for those who don't necessarily have a lot of hand strength. But it is a snappy recoil that everyone in the family besides me hates shooting this gun. Me, I love this gun. Took me a minute to get used to it, but I absolutely love it. It is a joy to carry. That said, we're going to take a look at the trigger here. So start out, we've got just a little bit of take up, not too awful much. Not too bad on the drop there. Now the reset,
Yes, it does take a little bit.
it's a little bit of motion in the reset, and not extremely tactile in it. Of course, firing again, reset again, and I'll try and move it slower, or more steadily, I should say, and there's the reset again. Not extremely tactile, a little bit of travel, so it's a decent trigger for a striker fire polymer gun. Not necessarily a spectacular trigger. I don't know. What do you think?
That's, like I said, yeah, it does definitely take a bit for that reset, but when you get to the wall, it ain't too bad.
Okay. So biggest thing probably, again, that
reset.
that recoil. And actually not too bad on weight for the trigger. It's fairly light.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact trigger specs, but then again, I kind of ignore them because there's what the factory says, and then there's
How it
you've shot it, you've broken it in, and right, what it actually comes out to. They say 6 pound, it turns out to be a 10 pound. Yeah. So move on next. Now this was, this is my wife's gun. This is the Taurus G2C. This is the second pistol that we picked up. She kind of felt like I should have one first. So,
Of course, the Taurus G2 being one of the only 2 guns Taurus has ever made.
what?
Heard a lot.
Taurus has got gun after gun after
I've heard
gun.
a
They've
lot-
got revolvers.
I've heard
They've
a
got.
lot of them are not that
Okay.
great. Though.
Now you got that part right. So there have only been a couple of Taurus guns that have actually reviewed well. The G2 was one of the first.
The G3.
The G3, of course, right there along the lines of the G2. A couple of little quirks that I don't necessarily dig about it, but as far as triggers go, of course, we've got that is quite a bit of, that's a lot of take up, dude.
Yeah.
That's like 6 miles of take up. And then short drop, not a whole lot of pressure required. Now let's see about that reset. If I can do it slow and not jerky. So not a whole lot of travel in that reset, really. Not a whole lot of travel at all. Tactile, it's still a little bit on the light side. So you've got to really be paying attention for it. And then, of course, firing again. So all in all, not too bad a trigger once you, again, get past that
Initial take up.
whole shit ton of take up. And of course it is a double action, single action, so even without, great for light strikes. And just for anybody curious, yes, it's empty. Alright, screw you.
So, as you were saying, it does have just a ton of take up, but once you get past it, not too bad. And,
Well, you do have to reset it.
oh, yeah. I forget. Yeah, sometimes
Guns are not always an exact science. Neither are videos.
once you get to the wall, not too bad. Then you get to the actual reset, and too bad. Definitely, I'd say a little bit better than the shield.
Oh, I mean that's a short reset, for sure. That's a short reset, very short. And again, pretty light trigger as well. So, I would definitely put it probably in the 4.5 pounds, maybe. But so we go next. Now this, of course, the Shield EZ. I picked up because some of the slides in particular on compact pistol or subcompact pistols, they can be really friggin' heavy. And some of your shooters are going to have, especially inexperienced or people with, again, lower hand strength, are going to have a lot of trouble actuating those slides. So for that reason, I specifically looked after the Shield EZ. Lo and behold, come to find out, for inexperienced shooters or those with small hands or weaker grip strength, that stupid fucking grip safety gets in the way, so negates the purpose of me getting it to begin with.
Yeah.
That said, so we go through the initial, not much take up at all before hitting the wall. A little bit more pressure required on that one than on the previous two, but still not a bad drop. Now, this is something interesting. This is something that we were preparing for this video, and I tell you what, I've handled this gun 100 times or more. I've shot it a lot. I actually like the way that it shoots. It shoots great. But one thing I didn't realize is, with all of these others, when I go to reset that trigger, I only really have to pull that slide back just a tiny, tiny bit, and you can reset that trigger. So, not the case with this one, and it's something really weird. So I can pull it back just a little, and if you listen real close, you can hear the trigger reset. But
it's not actually.
It will not fire. So I tried pulling back a little bit more. Reset. No bang. You actually have to actuate the slide completely to the rear to get the trigger to truly reset and fire. It's really weird. It's the only time I've ever run into that. If you've run into it with something else, give me a shout. I'd be curious to know if they did the same thing with the new equalizer. So, slide all the way back. Bad angle. And a little bit of travel, not too awful bad. And then
bang.
A little bit more pressure required than what you might think for something that is designed and marketed as being for people who have less strength and all that sort of thing. So really, still a good gun. I still really like shooting it. Just, again, I don't think spectacular for what it was designed to be.
Yeah. Of course, you know. I enjoy shooting the easy as well. Granted, as he was saying, grip safety is a fucking pain. Mainly because for me, since my hands are a bit smaller, the issue is right at the very top of it, I'll kind of not press on fully, so it won't fire. But other than that, great gun. Trigger, I'd say it's not too bad, but
kind of so-so, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, now we get on to Dalton's favorite pistol. And this is a really great gun. Of course, this is the Canik Mate SFX. This guy, I tell you what, every Canik I've ever grabbed hold of, for the money, and they really are, they're really inexpensive. This was, I mean, for a Canik, yeah, this one was a bit more, but look at what it is, and it's a full size, so, but still well below what most of your full size striker fired polymer pistols are going to be, especially optics ready and just everything that comes along with this package. I mean, they sent me a holster, they sent me a hard case, 2 magazines, cleaning kits, tool kits. I mean, the works.
Yeah.
And for, I think I paid maybe $650 for this guy.
That's really not bad.
That's next to nothing. 600, right. 650, something like that. So, get on to this. So, barely any take up, but just a tad. Well, a little bit more. That was almost nothing to drop that trigger. I mean, almost nothing. Now, let's see on the reset. Now, this one I really do have to work really slowly, or you'll miss it. Bingo. Bingo, bango, bongo. That was it. I mean,
it's almost instantaneous. Folks,
look, if there's a better out of the box striker fired trigger out there, I want it. I want it right here, right now. I want to know who's making it, because that was fucking sensational.
Oh yeah. if you're not going as slow as he was, for example, barely had to move my finger, already reset.
And again, nothing to drop it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to say 4 pounds. I'm thinking 3.5 is about all that takes to drop that puppy.
Yeah, and
I mean, you almost just have to breathe on it.
quite literally. All right, next up, of course, we have his everyday carry, our shadow system.
This is my current EDC. This is what replaced my Shield 2.0 when we decided to evolve away from the subcompacts. Again, harder to handle, much snappier recoil, and actually doesn't, at least for the way that I carry and the way that I dress, doesn't conceal any better than what a compact does. As a matter of fact, I have fewer problems. I wear a suit 5 days a week. I was always getting, because of, I carry the 5 o'clock, that grip was always hanging up on the tails of my coat. So I was constantly having to pull my coat over it. I have only had to do that once with this, one time. So, I mean, compact carry is great, and you get better recoil impulse, you get more rounds. Hey, I'm all about it. And this girl is just fabulous. Absolutely love her. So, trigger, we've got a little bit of take up, not much at all. A little bit of pull through to get it to drop, but still. Reset. Not much on travel. And again, drops very quick, very sharp, and extremely, very good on, I mean, that's tactile. Man, you can hear that a mile away, so you know it's reset and ready to go. I love this gun. I love the trigger. Would I cry if it had the Canucks trigger?
No.
Maybe. That might bring me to tears right there.
Tears of joy.
I didn't say it'd be sadness. I just said tears.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. Still, exactly as you were saying, not bad take up. Not as fast reset as the Mate, but still pretty fast, I would say.
Pretty fast, pretty short. Not a whole lot required to sink that trigger, but definitely more than the Canic. Definitely less than some of the others that we've got out here too.
Yeah. Now,
Pick only likes kitties when she wants to like kitties. That was not the moment she wants to like kitties.
Now here we have the Glock 48.
MOS.
Yep. Glock 48 MOS.
So this guy, and it was kind of weird because I finally bought my very first Glock for somebody else. It was a present, so no straw purchase bullshit. Shut up. And don't tell the ATF. But actually, the only Glock that I found that I actually like. I do really like this Glock. It's got a very surprising little trigger. So we'll start. Not much on take up. Not much at all on that take up.
Yeah.
A little bit more pressure. Now it is kind of heavy to drop. It's about a 5.5, 6 pound trigger, according to Glock. And yeah, I will believe every ounce of that. So solid drop. Now reset. A little bit of travel on the reset. Still nice, crisp, tactile. And then, boom, it just drops right down. Again, a little bit of pressure, so it's about a 5.5, 6 pound trigger, just like Glock said it was. But one I'm loving, and I've said it in 2 prior videos, I'm going to say it in this one. This is the trigger that Glock should have in everything they make. There's no sponginess. There's not a lot of travel. You don't feel like you need to scrub with, SOS pads and lava soap after you've handled this trigger. You don't feel dirty and going, what the fuck did I just shoot? Really great trigger, really great gun. Again, highly underrated and underappreciated in my personal opinion. I would love if y'all would visit that video and tell me what you think about it.
Of course. I have not shot this one yet. I've shot. It wasn't this one.
Till tomorrow. Till tomorrow.
Yeah, save that for another time. But from what I can see, yeah, reset's not bad. Of course, it is definitely a little bit heavier than all the other ones we've talked about. But once you get past it, not too bad. Yeah, I would say definitely. I'm excited to actually try and shoot this one.
So quicker reset equals speed. Lighter pull equals accuracy. That's your basic math. Again, some triggers, okay. I don't think I've got any out here that just absolutely suck. I don't know. I would be hard pressed to actually rank them right now, aside from
the Mate being number
the
one.
king of triggers. That's just all there is to it.
I mean, yeah.
Canik, so far, Canik definitely for the win. But we've got a couple of decent competitors for second and third place. Really not sure who's going to be last. But tomorrow we are going to be taking these ladies out to the range. We are going to run a few rounds through them each. And we're going to come back and we're going to judge them. We're going to rate them. We're going to see who really does build the best trigger and who could stand a little more work.
Yeah.
So we'll have that video up for you next week.
Yep.
So come back and see us. Again, like, subscribe, train. I cannot stress training enough. Train with your hardware. If you think you've trained enough,
No, you haven't.
You're full of shit. You ain't trained enough. Take your ass back to the range. Make sure you get good training. Dry fire training, a very, very effective tool. Even just sitting out here, for one, it's familiarization with the hardware that you're carrying. 2, it's the opportunity to work on certain things like your trigger squeeze, certain things like your grip, certain things like your handling, being able to find the red dot optic. If you're an old shooter like me, dot optics are a little difficult to learn. They're harder to train with. If you're a newer shooter,
it's pretty easy.
They pick it up like that. So train. Come back. See us next week.